Hi everyone. I think please share the slides. Um, ESCAP team. Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Um, can we, yeah, thank you very much indeed. Ah, I see one of the colleagues here in the middle. Um, yeah.
Morning, morning.
Good morning.
Sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi. Okay, I think we are almost ready. Kia ora katoa, everyone. My name is Mohsen Mohammed. I'm a senior lecturer in the School of Architectural Planning, University of Auckland. I'm the moderator of this session, Module 5A, and I want to thank Honorable Mayors for joining this session, and also UNSCAP teams for the all works and the supports, and also academic teams, my colleagues, Dr. Jennifer and Dr. Edgar, for their help, and they are with us today as well. And also I want to thank the speakers we have in the session. Can we go to the next slide, please? Before starting this session, there's a couple of the things and remindings here. It will be appreciated all participants are, using their names and following the format, so we can recognize who they are and what kind of organization or municipality they come from. And it would be great all the mayors keep their videos and the cameras on. And also, if you are not speaking, please, put in the kind of the mute condition, so to avoid any kind of disruptions. And if you want to speak, click the raise hand button, and then, when acknowledged, you can kindly share your ideas or perspective. And if you have comments and questions, you may submit them via the chat box we create for you. So next slide, please. So for this module, actually is part of the kind of the direction we have and the 4 pillars. And during the previous sessions, you already passed a couple of the sessions regarding urban and territorial planning for resilience future. And also, as I know, in previous one, for example, you had urban resilience at the crossroads of the multi-level climate actions. And now we are going on the kind of the future smart and inclusive cities, which is the module 5. And the module 6, which is after this one, would be future of the urban finance. Next slide, please. So this module actually developed based on the very latest actual publications by UNSCAP teams, especially regarding Asia-Pacific regional guidelines for smart cities as smart technology and disruptive technologies become more important. So as you can see here, the most important aspects of it, as a center, is a kind of the different layers and different aspects and principles we are following. So I highly recommend the honorable mayors actually to download and use this guideline. I find it, as even as an academic, I find it very helpful for students, and also for as a planner for practice and using technology. So I highly recommend honorable mayors actually to use this guideline and using the materials over there. Next slide, please. So in this session, we focus on a smart city and their new technologies. I name it somehow disruptive technologies related to managing urban problems, line with the 2030 Agenda Sustainable Development. And the session shared various examples, case studies of smart initiatives in developing sustainable urban development strategies and actions. It created kind of the focus on mayors and got concerns and challenges that are facing in their cities, and honorable mayors will present their slides in the group discussions and also share their ideas later. So for this module, we have 3 academics. My colleagues, Professor Jennifer Ampero from University of Philippines, and also Dr. Edgar Reyes from the University of Philippines as well. Sorry, help us actually to moderate and somehow work on this session. Next slide, please. So we have a couple of the presentations for you, and it's a plan of this program. I think you already have access to the plan, and you and ESCAP team kindly share this kind of information with you. So we have welcome remarks, and then we go for a kind of the explanation about the smart cities, and also another presentation by the Wellington City Council and a strategic planning manager over there, and we have a new perspective based on the community-based smart city. Before going to break, we have mayors exchange ideas about the smart cities and technologies. When we come back again, we have a couple of the other presentations regarding to air pollution using technology, mobility, and also we have AI, which is a very popular topic nowadays in planning, policymaking, and governance. And also we go to the kind of breakout rooms to discuss about the limitations and challenges. And then we come back, discuss about it, and report of the breakout rooms outcomes, and then Dr. Jennifer kindly summarize the session, and Dr. Edgar mapping the next session for you. Next slide, please. So the key question we want to answer in this session is that what's the meaning of the smart city in different contexts, and what options can mayors consider for using smart technologies to achieve sustainable urban development and contribute to the SDGs, and what are the practical ways to apply smart technologies, and what examples exist in the Asia and Pacific region. So we have a couple of the expecting learning objectives, and providing understanding of the concept, and also reviewing some practical examples and solutions, and investigating smart sustainable cities initiatives. Next slide, please. So for this session, we invite a range of the speakers. We have Kurt Gregan, Sean Auden, Matt Inzer, Matthew Perkins, Dr. Xuan Wing, and also we have Leon Cassidy and John Kirch, and they will present their and speak about the smart technology from different perspectives. Next slide, please. It would be appreciated if all of you mayors, turn on your cameras for a group kind of the photo. Please turn on your cameras, please. Yeah, and then we'll have all mayors.
In the count of 3, I will take a screenshot. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks all for arranging this. I appreciate that. So let's please go to the next slide, please. And go to the next slide. It's possible. So I want to invite Kurt Garrigan. He is a chef of the Sustainable Urban Development section at the ESCAP, and he is kindly with us in his busy time, and helping this session for a long time, and arranging and managing that. Floor is yours, Kurt. Thank you very much for opening remark.
Thank you very much, Motion, and welcome honorable mayors and colleagues to this module of the Academy, which, as Motion has already said, introduces the opportunities that are emerging from smart cities and digital transformations. At the start, I would like to thank all mayors for their continued engagement, and to our faculty partners, Motion, Jennifer, and Edgar, and to all of the speakers today for sharing their expertise with all of you and with us. I hope that you are seeing that the Academy continues to layer knowledge on the key elements to create a sustainable city, and that you are already incorporating some of those elements from the curriculum in your own cities. We all hear about smart cities, and today almost every city relies on technologies for operations or for citizen engagement or for collecting and analyzing data. We hope that this module actually elevates the discussion and the understanding well beyond the deployment of an application or the use of the latest software to improve the efficiency or operations of municipal governments. Smart cities are, in fact, much more than that. Yes, efficiency is important, but what we hope for is that cities become hubs of innovation, creating new markets and opportunities for entrepreneurship. How do you use technologies to create an ecosystem that fosters innovation and growth, that improves the quality of life, that improves access to services and opportunities, including education and healthcare, and that is inclusive to all? Those are key questions. Many cities are facing a growing digital gap, where those with means benefit most from technologies because they have better access. How do you develop policies and practices to overcome that digital gap? As you continue to refine your local initiatives, we encourage you to expand your visions to include the use of technologies, not as an off-the-shelf application that you purchase and deploy within your city, but as a means to transform your city and improve the lives of residents and visitors. As we all navigate the implications of AI, cities might also be leaders in leveraging its use for the benefit of their citizens. This is also an area where partnerships can be critically important. Few cities develop the technologies or build the necessary IT infrastructure or operate all smart city applications. Such endeavors are opportunities to engage the private sector, startups, and in fact, citizens for crowdsourcing information and for developing actions. But begin, as always, with a strong foundation that is built on multi-stakeholder engagement. As you navigate, citizens can help you to inform and can be part of the vision, creating a vision for a smart city. One of the more important components of your initiatives as you develop those and refine them, and one that might actually attract attention and investment, is how it potentially leverages technologies and partnerships. And we hope that through this module, you identify appropriate actions that will allow you to become a truly smart and innovative city. Before I finish, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate, I think the mayor of Mali is with us, and they are finalizing their first voluntary local review. Congratulations to the mayor for that endeavor. I understand it will be launched later this month. Congratulations. We commend you for all of that work and hope that you can share with your peers your experiences on that VLR. I wish you all a good session, and again, thank you to our partners for their continued support. Motion back over to you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Court, for opening remark and sharing very fantastic points here. As you correctly mentioned, it's how we use the technology, and especially for including different groups of people and create more benefits for everyone in the cities. Next slide, please. So it's my presentation. Actually, in my presentation, I want to explain that a brief explanation about the smart city and somehow how it started and what we have as a reality. Next slide, please. So during the last couple of decades or centuries, we have faced a different stage of industrialization. If we look to the history, of the first stage of industrialization initiated in the 18th century, we name it the first stage, Industry 1, and it's coming with somehow steam engines and somehow shipping system here, which creates a kind of the disruption regarding what we have for transportation and factory and industrial production. Later on, in the early of 20th century, we have Industry 4, another wave of the changes of technology, and it's associated with and recognized by at least two main technologies there. First, assembly line, introduced especially by Ford, and the other one is the electricity. And electricity, especially after Edison, it's become very disruptive technology and changing the nature of the way we live. As you know that, car become quite dominant and shape the way we are moving. And also electricity changed the way we live. We go, for example, higher level in the kind of the elevators invented based on the electricity, and also we have a nightlife. So it's somehow disrupt and create a kind of another layer of the changes for us. The third stage of industrialization, we name it Industry 3, is the time of the computers and the PCs and earlier stage of internet. So we actually faced this wave of the technologies in the 70s and 80s, somehow continued now. So most of us, we are in the kind of the age we experience this actually a stage of industrialization. What we are moving now, which is a new era, is Industry 4. It's a type of the technology. It's not based on the only ICT, but it's based on the a kind of the gadgets or the machines. They can automatically work and create a kind of the new type of era for us. So they are based on the cyber physical production systems. Next slide, please. So that term actually coined by Klaus Schwab. He was the founder of the World Economic Forum, and he said that actually we are arriving into a kind of new era, and gives us a new type of the opportunity here, and all aspects of our experience or living will be affected by this transition or the stage of industrialization, as Kurt correctly and precisely mentioned, that actually all cities around the world, all people more or less, they are engaging with this kind of the technological transformation and changes like AI and new other type of emerging technologies. Next slide, please. So when we are speaking about this kind of the technologies, I name it disruptive. Disruptive means that they change the way we work and they use and the way we live. Sometimes they are quite expensive at the beginning, but later on because they are quite productive and increase efficiency, we use them more, and then the price will drop significantly and become more affordable. Some other technologies that are lower performance, but because they are cheaper and create a kind of more efficiency, gradually use them and gradually getting better, like AI. Early versions, they were not quite perfect, but getting better. So it's a range of the technologies we name as a kind of the disruptive. So we are facing this kind of disruption in the way we manage or the way we dealing and living in this new era. Next slide, please. The good example regarding to the disruptive technologies, the kind of, as you can see in this picture, and I use that sometimes in my lectures there. In the earlier, for example, 20th century, if you look at the picture here, it's a New York, Avenue, Fifth Avenue in New York, and we can just see one car, used, and as you can see, but in the just 13 years, there is no horses and carriage, and all occupied by cars. So what that really means, it means that the car as a disruptive technology at that time just somehow changed the dynamics of the market. Nobody keep horses or carriage anymore, but creating a kind of the new era for us. So that kind of the disruptive technologies somehow we cannot transform or destroy the existing product or market or what we have as everyday life and create a kind of new era for us. Next slide, please. So when we are speaking about the smart technologies, it's a kind of the way that somehow they become part of the urban fabric, especially digital infrastructure. And then become part of the entrepreneurial and regulatory effects. So they interpreted and used in the kind of different layers of the city and different location infrastructure and different aspects of that, and then transform and change the way we collect information, we analyze the information, and we manage the city consequently. Next slide, please. When we are speaking about a smart city here, but it has different layers in it, and at least 6 dimensions somehow recognized as the dimensions of the smart city. A smart economy, obviously productivity and increasing the efficiency of the system and the way we are working is one of the key aspects of the using disruptive technologies. Working on the people, and improve their knowledge and digital literacy. It's very important to make the people smart and teach them how to use the technologies in a more productive way and more also safe way. We have a smart mobility, which is the kind of the autonomous vehicles, kind of the new emerging technologies in kind of the sensor-based transport systems. We have smart living, which connects to the health and safety and cultural kind of the aspects of the cities. And we have a government aspect, which is one of the key aspects for you guys, enabling, supporting, and providing service for the people, and somehow providing a transparency and open data, and somehow, as I realize in your slides, think about the e-governance and privacy and security management and ICT management. And also regarding environment, obviously, technology, especially in smart ones, can somehow help us to improve the quality and protect the environment. Next slide, please. So in that case, a new term introduced by UN, a smart sustainable city based on the SDGs, and they defined a kind of the combination of both technology and smart initiatives in association with sustainable development goals, which is the 17 ones. 17 smart sustainable development goals we have and defined by the UN. Next slide, please. But when you look to the kind of how this term shaped and developed, we know that sustainable idea and sustainability idea, we have it from the 1980s, and later on from 2000-ish, we have another wave of the technologies and disruptive technologies coming, in addition to the kind of the terms like a sustainable cities, and create a kind of the new type of the terms and the concepts for us, and using a smart technology for sustainability. But when we are speaking about sustainable development, obviously it includes all 6 aspects of a smart city development. Next slide, please. So if you consider technology as, against all 17 sustainable development goals, you can find that actually that kind of a smart technology can be used to meet most of this goals, and also 169 targets. We can find a connection with all of them. So yeah, so but the most important aspect is that how we define it, how we shape and use this kind of technologies and direct it in a particular way to meet this kind of the goals and targets defined by UN. Next slide, please. One of the aspects very important, and it's become obviously very popular for the smart cities. Smart cities can create a kind of economic boom and somehow create benefits. And especially it's very important for the cities after COVID and kind of the financial crisis. A smart city and using technology to increase productivity, and the cities be part of it, to be benefited from this global and regional development is a key thing. So again, I highly recommend you guys, the honorable mayors, actually to read the document prepared by UN ESCAP teams regarding the smart cities and regional development in Asia Pacific. Next slide, please. So when we are speaking about the technology somehow, this kind of the using the technology is not a kind of just usage. There are some technologies, we have a trigger, and then we have a somehow pick of the expectations. And then unfortunately, some of the technologies, they cannot meet what we expected or kind of the expectations we have, and create a kind of disillusionment, we name it. And sometimes people disappointed and leave the technologies, or somehow be more realistic. And then we have a slope of the enlightenment. The most important one is the plateau of the productivity. It's the key time actually for us when we reach the kind of the use of particular disruptive technology in a more productive way. Next slide, please. So it's a kind of the graph here. So we have a technology introduced, then we have a lot of peak of inflated expectations. For example, when AI came, we see that a lot of people, spoke about what it can do or something like that. And suddenly they become quite realistic because some of that promises or expectations, they were not met. And then people become disappointed and gradually become enlightenment regarding what they can do. And then going to the kind of the plateau of the productivity. Next slide, please. So it's a range of the technologies in the 2024 regarding that kind of the graph. So as you can see, some technologies are in the peak, and AI, for example, generative AI is still the kind of things. But as you can see, it's going down. And I can see that people nowadays, they're speaking about it. Oh yeah, it cannot respond to all kind of expectations we had initially from it. But we need to be more realistic. Gradually, we'll going that direction. Next slide, please. The most important thing, as a policymakers, planners, and urban managers and mayors, we need to consider here is that a lot of people will actually use the technology when it's going that kind of the expectations, but because it's failed to meet that kind of expectations, some of technologies will ignored, and then some of them actually will survive around the 40%. And it's a problem. If we don't use their capacity or manage them in the kind of the correct way, somehow it goes to the kind of the graveyard. Next slide, please. But if we use them in a kind of more kind of the appropriate way, and most of the discussion today is about how we can use the technology and in the more kind of the gradual ones, not pick off the, kind of expectations, but gradually. So it helps us actually to use the technology and achieve more. And it's what we want for our cities and our people, our residents, isn't it? So we can continue using the capacity of the technologies and using what we have as a kind of what promised, and especially regarding productivity and providing the service and the technology. Next slide, please. There are a couple of the range of the limitations when we are speaking about the smart city governance. And I think most of you already mentioned that in your slides as I check some of your slides. So like a lack of literacy, kind of privacy issues, lack of vision, support, finance. So it's a range of the limitations there. But it's very important for us actually to how we manage this kind of the challenges and use this technology in the right way. Next slide, please. So in that case, we need to somehow consider this. Technologies are often implemented at the peak of the inflated expectations without kind of the policy frameworks as one of the limitations we have. And most of the time, planners and policymakers, mayors become reactive to the hype of rather than the proactive in contextualizing technologies with that kind of the socio-political contexts or economic contexts they come from. Most of the time, we consider we overlook the kind of temporal disconnects. Most of the time, planning cycles or plans are actually misaligned with the rapid technological cycles we have, and this kind of things create a kind of the problem and unfit technologies into the long-term perspective. So one of the aims of this session actually, we want to inform and somehow discuss about this kind of the things, consider technology in the long term, not in the short period of time. And also regarding ethical and governance of and concerns associated with this technological changes, who benefited from the early adaptations, who will be excluded, and also what kind of the governance models we have for plateau of the productivity to be equitable. Especially we'll discuss about these aspects and ethical and governance concerns, in the module 5B. But And in the module 5A, we are mainly focusing on these two first aspects of it. Next slide, please. So I think I finished my presentation here. I think we have shown Alvin, the strategic planning manager at the Wellington City Council, join us. Sean, are you here to start your presentation?
Yes, I am, Mohsen.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Sean. And let me introduce Sean. He's a very busy man. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate your time. And it's a late time in Wellington. I really appreciate that you join us. So, floor is yours, Sean.
Very good. Let me just share my presentation. Oh,
I think you shared the slides with us, so it's there if you want.
you're already excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. Excellent. Good. Yes, my name is Sean O'Dane. I'm the strategic planning manager at Wellington City Council. Now, if we just move to the next slide. So I find when I talk, it's a good idea to make sure we have defined the terms. And so one of the terms that will come up a lot over the day is what artificial intelligence is. So when I'm talking about it, artificial intelligence is a philosophical concept. So it's not really a technology, it's something technology can do. So when it starts to look like it is thinking and it has a cognitive ability, that's artificial intelligence. That's built on a whole bunch of technologies. So if we go to the next slide, those technologies are things like the data that it is made from, the metadata, which is the data that tells you about the data, machine learning, so that's using algorithms and pattern languages to teach machines so that they can produce new and interesting products. And I'll show you some examples of them that we use in the planning of Wellington in a minute. If we move to the next slide. You also encounter some of the more niche types of technologies as well. So deep learning, neural networks, large language models. The large language models are the ones who talk to you or write to you. Parametric models, so those are things I use a lot in the planning of the city. They work a little bit like a large language model in that they assemble things according to prompts, but rather than assembling words, they assemble geometries. So I use them for understanding what zoning rules will create and how much space can be realized and what the infrastructure loads and investment curves look like. And if we move to the next slide, we can start to think about how that technology affects the city. So technology has always affected cities. Cities in many ways are a technology, but the way technology changes the way our cities work over time can be quite dramatic. So this is an example of a sewer system. It was built during the Victorian age. It's about 100 years old. And if we move to the next slide, you can see how the street on top of it changed. So this is the Strand in London. On the left is more or less today, and on the right is when the sewer was built, or just after it. The reason that sewer can support about 20 times the population that once lived there is because of the technology change that occurred in that street. Those horses produced a lot of waste, and a lot of that sewage capacity in that pipe was taken up by that waste. And so as emissions moved from lying in the street to coming out of a tailpipe, things changed. The interesting thing there, though, is that the problem faced by city governments changed. So rather than the health hazards and the mess that horses created, we now had to deal with air pollution and the health effects that exhaust creates. And so in many ways, today's innovations lead to tomorrow's problems. So if we move to the next slide, when we are using all of these technologies in the city, what we're trying to do is untangle the many different threads which join the different systems that the city administers and that form the threads of people's lives so that we can create an outcome. And one of the challenges we have as city managers is often when we pull on one of those threads, we don't anticipate what else will move beyond the intended system. And so that's where digital cities and smart cities become so important. So if we move to the next slide, an example of this is this. So this is the eastern part of Wellington. I'm sitting off on the left at the moment. And this is what it looked like 400 years ago, 500 years ago. And one of the interesting things about Wellington is because of the earthquakes and the very active climate we have, we can see our landscapes change in a very short amount of time. And so what we've been doing is using systems like this to communicate how the city came to be, but also how climate change is changing the way our city experienced and how some of that past is coming back to the surface. So if we move to the next slide, you can see how we can show what some of the current issues we're experiencing are. And on the next slide, you can see some of the future issues that we begin to experience. And so what we can do is relate future scientific projections to people's lives and to different types of risk profiles and help people begin to make the decisions they need to make as we make the decisions that we need to make. So if we move to the next slide, we can also use these city models to bring together very large amounts of information from disparate hazards and start to look at things like how does groundwater be affected by changing sea levels? How does earthquake hazard change or landslide hazard change with rainfall patterns? Things that might not seem obvious until they're pointed out. And by having these on large screens in the east of the city that people can explore and touch and go to their house, it helps them understand what climate change means for them and makes it easier when it comes to talking to us about citywide issues and how entire utility networks need to adapt. We move to the next slide. And so you can see we've been putting this in places like the National Museum for people to play with and understand alongside some of the real artifacts that come from some of the times that we were showing them. And so if we go to the next slide, we can also use layers of these technologies and sequence to help us understand things. So this is a map of shop fronts in Wellington, what the different shop fronts are used for. This is one of those invisible threads I was talking about. As a city council, we tax based on land and capital investment, so buildings basically. And the challenge for us is we don't often deal with the people inside those buildings if they don't own the building. And so this helps us understand how are the changing dynamics of our economy affecting our streets, what is the effect on different types of industries, and then that helps us inform our city planning about where things like bus stops need to go, how streets are likely to be used in the future, all sorts of things. And so if we move to the next slide, and then one after that, that's the graph version of what I just showed you. We can, if we move to the next slide, Mosen, I assume you control it. There we go. We can also use this to start seeing into the ground. What we have been doing is working with all of the different utility companies in Wellington and also with local governments across the country to begin to understand what is beneath the ground and where things actually are. And one of the challenges we've had is over the last 150 years of infrastructure building, we have sometimes forgotten where we put things, or the maps when we go to dig in the streets are not accurate, and the pipe is not where we thought it would be, and that leads to delays as we have to redesign things, or danger as we have to go and find them using diggers and ground penetrating radars. So if we move to the next slide, what we have been doing is surveying that sector to see what effect that accuracy of information and data has on their operations, and then it's building these systems that can assemble the data, but also link to the consenting systems and the administrative systems of both the utilities and the city to ensure that data remains up to date, so that in 150 years' time, hopefully my successor doesn't look back on me and curse me for not having solved the problem. We move to the next slide. And if we skip to the next one, Mosen. So that beta access has been opened up across the city. And then if we move to the next slide, one of the really interesting things for you as leaders of cities is how we arrange this. So it's a very large systemic change for how we do things. And so to make that work, what we have done is worked through the policy and processes in a work stream. So understood where is it easier to change the law or change the regulations to achieve an outcome than to retrain everybody or do something else. That we've had to work with providers to develop the platforms necessary to provide them, so the thing that we can buy. We've had to do a lot of change and alignment of our staff, so training people so that this doesn't become a novelty, it becomes a tool for them. We've had to work with the wider utility sector and also engage nationally to make sure that we don't end up with multiple systems across the country. We've had to integrate it with other technologies that the city runs so that we don't end up with a single silo where we know what's under the ground, but we can't relate it to what's on top. And then we've had to make decisions about what do we do in this type of project and what don't we do. And that comes down to the value add, where we are working through how we expose this data to private companies so that they can innovate and deliver the things that frankly we are never going to deliver because the value isn't there for the city. And so if we go to the next slide, underlying the whole project are these principles. And so they're based on the Gemini principles that are used worldwide for digital twin projects. I think they come from England originally. But the key principles are down the side. We've got to be clear about our purpose. We need to make sure we can maintain trust, because as a city government, trust is the bedrock upon which we are built. And we must always be clear on how it is our investments are going to function so that they can function effectively. And then the only thing we do a little differently to what they do in England is we put that into the context of our treaty partnership with our Māori people and the democratic partnership we have with all people in Wellington to govern effectively in their name. And so if we move to the next slide, one of those things we've been doing to help with that governing is a decisions register. So this is a relational database that records all the votes of the city government and who voted for what and at what stage and links them together. And so what this means is that now you can search for any decision the council has made in the last, I think it's 9 years, see which councillor voted for what, and also understand how those decisions link together as they go through the different stages of decision making. And what this is helping do is make our government more transparent, but it's also helping administrators like me to understand what is the latest decision, what are the enabling and authorizing environments I'm working in, so that I can ensure that the delegated authority I have links very well with the democratic authority our councillors have. If we move to the next slide, we've also been doing some pilots with other groups. And so one of the most interesting has been with Ngāti Toa to digitise the Mātauranga Māori, the Indigenous knowledge around Porirua Harbour. And what this project has helped do is move to a harbour accord. So there is a new agreement between all the parties that have watersheds that drain into this harbour to improve its health and also invest in the monitoring systems and the metrics necessary to measure that health. And it is helping our council understand how does some of the concepts like Indigenous data sovereignty work in practice on the ground with our partners. So if we move to the next slide, we've been doing quite a number of these experiments, and they range from everything like down in the bottom corner, where we've been working in high schools to model planning controls with the students, so teaching them to build their own digital twins they can fix their sensors to, and that's helping us understand what sort of open data the community are interested in. But it's also improving our practice as urban planners, because now people can show us what they mean rather than telling us. We've passed a new district plan that has more than quadrupled the development capacity of the city and reformed the consenting system. And so that's been done in 3 dimensions for the first time. But it's also helped us calculate things like walking catchments for infrastructure investment, and also to simulate the building of new street layouts before they're built, so that we can detect issues. Where it's much easier to move bits and bytes than concrete and tarmac, in my experience. So if we can do that more, it helps save our ratepayers money. If we move to the next slide, that's that new district plan I was talking about. We go to the next one. Yes, some of the other interesting things we do is work with sensors. So one of the sensor projects we've had going is this. It's a progression that helps us understand and count birds by the sounds they make, and it helps us understand the investment we're making in our biosphere. And then if we go to the next slide, that data has helped with our trapping data and our community data on bird counting, has helped us restore 9 extinct bird species to Wellington now. And then if we move to the next slide, those bird species have spread along these green corridors. And so this is where you see data in different systems starting to contribute to city outcomes. So these are maps of every tree in Wellington, and we use those to monitor how are our land use and our planting schemes working, and are we generating the corridors we need for our native birds to move along. And then that informs the new regulations for land use whenever we review them. And if we move to the next slide, it also helps with outcomes in other systems. So now we have tourists from all around New Zealand and different places in the world come to see our native birds. There's often, if they want to see these creatures quickly without trekking into the deep forest, Wellington is the easiest place for them to come. And so that's having an effect on our tourism and hospitality industries, which creates a virtuous circle as the community invests more in trees and backyard plantings. So if we move to the next slide, one of the projects which is nearly complete, it's my Christmas present for the city, is this project which is automating the counting of vehicles, pedestrians, and cyclists, e-scooters and freight throughout the city, so that we can get far better knowledge about how the city's transportation system is working, but also introduce counts throughout the day. And so, for example, one of the insights I'm looking to understand is, how does the pedestrian system in Wellington work at night during the day? Almost all of our data over the last 30 years is from daytime, and we can tell from just casual observation, things are different at night. And so now we're looking to generate the insights to understand what are the safety implications of those different patterns, but also the accessibility and the other challenges that come with changed patterns at night, so that we can better invest in the city's infrastructure. Yes, so if we move to the next slide, sitting behind all of these pieces of work is an enabling environment that's based on some core principles. One of those core principles is that data must be kept warm. And what I mean by that is that in order for data to be used and sustained over time, it needs to be treated a lot like money. Money, we are always clear where it comes from, what currency it is in, and who has the authority to spend it and use it. And data is much the same. And so what that means is aligning our data governance systems to our organizational outcome governance systems, so that managers understand they're responsible for not just budgets, but also for data that's used to create outcomes. The other big ethical consideration that's allowed us to sustain this work over time has been an understanding that privacy is not a constraint, it is a design criteria. And so you'll have noticed that the images from the automated counting systems are blurry. The reason they're blurry is because they've been designed to make facial recognition extremely difficult to perform. And it's through making sure that principles like data minimization are followed and that you have contingency plans for when there is a failure, that you can sustain the mandates from both the general population but also from governors to continue to do this work year after year. And that's been the secret of Wellington's success in this area and its ability to sustain investment in smart cities for the last decade has largely been that ensuring that ethical governance and that privacy has been in place since day one. It is necessary, however, to not just leave it in place. So as new technologies come along, particularly in some of those machine learning and generative learning spaces, you do need to reassess these systems so that you can ensure that the personal data of people doesn't re-emerge from the anonymization techniques as more and more powerful algorithms are deployed into them. So if we move to the next slide, I think that's about it. Thank you very much, Mohsen. It was a pleasure to speak with you all.
Well, thank you very much, Sean. Thank you. As usual, it's very inspiring, and very pioneer projects over there. And you correctly mentioned that you are a kind of a very good model for, I think not just for New Zealand. I know that the other cities in New Zealand are also following you, and your team over there, and your fantastic projects there. Thank you very much for your invaluable time and sharing your experience. Thank you, and have a good evening, though. I know that's quite late, so thank you very much indeed.
Very good. Thank you very much. Have a good course. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much, everyone. Let's go to next speakers. Next slide, please. We have actually another group of speakers from New Zealand, but they provide a very different perspective and practical perspective regarding somehow community-based smart city. And we have Leon Cassidy and also John Krish here from the Omega Network. Thank you very much again, from Wellington, and it's quite late. I really appreciate your time and support, though. Thank you. Floor is yours.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohsen, and thank you for all honourable mayors for attending and giving us a space to share our journeys and our learnings from the Seven Islands. Myself, I'm John, and this is Leon. Just wanted to say welcome. Kia ora, sawasdee krap, soksabai. That's as far as my language goes, but yes, welcome. So our presentation is on when disaster strikes Seven Islands. Now, just to provide a little bit of context around what Seven Islands is, as Sean mentioned before, our region, Wellington, faces a reality of if a major earthquake does strike Wellington, 7.5 and above, our region faces the real possibility of splitting into 7 isolated regions. Each region with its own unique challenges that needs to be faced. This could be anywhere from having water issues, sewage issues, transportation issues, power, and we could be disrupted for months. This was a call to action from our Wellington Regional Emergency Management Office in 2019 for local heroes to step forward to bring forward their kind of best ability and technology to kind of help when disaster strikes. And so Leon and I have attempted to answer the call, and we wanted to share some of our learnings along the way.
Yeah, so we're trying to transform how communities connect with their infrastructure. And the 7-island scenario gives us a good vulnerability that we face as a region that impacts our nation as a whole. And so we're trying to figure out and working on how do we maintain critical connections when our physical infrastructure fails. We'll move on to the next slide, please. It's kind of formatted a little off there, but you'll be able to make most of it. So we've built a whole bunch of municipal infrastructure frameworks, which covers an approach to infrastructure development. It really drives a series of outcomes that really aligns with the smart cities objectives and development roadmap that Mawson shared earlier. To start is a critical infrastructure framework. And that's where we look at infrastructure in a way of the digital overlay on top of it. So getting information from our water pipes, what's the quality of the water, how much water are we pumping, how much are we losing? And then thinking about how we store that back into a unified community-owned, we call them smart hubs, but aggregation points where that data is stored and then propagated out across the region. And so you've got 3 components of this framework. One of them is the edges, how you collect data using different paths to get it back to these hubs, the aggregation and storing and processing of the data in the hubs, and then a unified platform to engage and interface. So that's the digital twin that gives you that orchestration layer and understanding of the technology. You want to touch on that, Trevor?
Yeah, and so with our approach, we look at bringing in academia, community, and also industry together and form that kind of basis, that glue to connect all 3 together. Because when we look at the supply chain around these entities, we're looking at how we build innovation from the ground up, because local and regional problems should be led by those who actually face them and informed by the governance top-down approach. And so when we look at how triadic relationships work, what if we were able to create win-win-win scenarios where a solution benefits all those involved, but ultimately benefits humanity as well? And that's why we've honed in on water, because water is our life's blood. We are guardians of our water, and we can learn a lot throughout history, through our ancestors, and through our Pacific island and neighbors here, that water is actually essential for us to survive. And so using our digital twin to create a template around how do we manage our critical assets very well, so that we can ensure dignity through our taps, so that when mothers go to turn on those taps to provide water for their children, they're always going to know that it's going to be safe. So using this model and lifting that up and turning it into templates and moving it across industries such as energy, such as public safety, health, we can apply these across the board and create win-win-win situations that serve humanity's greater purpose.
Yeah. And I think one of the main things that we're really focusing and trying to target in on is each of the different jurisdictions that we have today likes to hold on to their data and build it in their own governance structure. And we think the correct approach is to take a more co-governance and democratic approach to this data. And so when we think about the communications network, we fortunately have a national fiber initiative from Chorus, and that's able to provide lots of information around, is there power to a home by that ONT? And we can take these different lifelines, we call them the energy, the water, transport, and communications, and feed them across lifelines. So the real goal is, how do we build community-based infrastructure in a manner that allows them to be interacted with between lifelines at the local, the regional, and the national level?
The insights that we can get from bringing those data together can be quite immensely powerful, especially understanding in regions where we have power outages from weather events, that we can learn those lessons for tomorrow. So we might find during a storm, power goes out for a region. Now, in that particular region, we might have 4 or 5 homes that rely on electricity for life sustainability. People with dialysis treatments or requiring power full time. We can then inform through that data to emergency services or to emergency services or carers that, hey, look, we should prioritize these homes when we evacuate our people, or when we have power outages, we make sure that these buildings or these communities stay up and learn the lessons so that we don't lose life.
Yeah, and we can continue with that data as well. So as we track it over the long term, you can start pulling in the information of the utilities network with the data we have from our weather networks, and over the long term, we'll be able to understand where at a street level, at a suburb level, or at a city level, where we need to fortify our energy infrastructure to survive certain disasters. And that's just one case in where we can see the triadic the unification of lifelines coming together. And the good thing is that we'd like to really present the data to the academic researchers to build upon, because they are going to know what to do as you give them just data sources from all different. Hey, Wilson.
Hi, we have just 5 minutes remain. Sorry, then we need to
All right,
go to.
we'll jump to the next slide though. I think that covers the circular economy, and we'll just, if you don't mind going to the next slide, please.
Sorry, it's a kind of.
That's right.
That's right.
So yeah, we've developed a platform for unified leadership and smart environments. We've called it Pulse, and it's really supporting the guardianship of Wellington, Te Whanganui Atara through aligned values. Want to touch on the next one?
Yeah, so we look at how our city will prosper from our work in terms of building resilience into our platforms, but also into our city. So when we're building resilience, we are also building for prosperity as well. We are trying to help our city prepare for the worst while building best with what we have today. We've got sustainable efforts going into using technology that already exists, that just needs innovative ways of using it for the greater good. That purpose is around maintaining dignity, maintaining resilience, but also prosperity for all.
Yeah. The sovereignty models that we've developed ensure local control, intergenerational thinking, and circular value flows that keep prosperity within communities. That really supports the guardianship and the responsibilities of those in leadership positions by enabling digital sovereignty, things like real-time visibility of infrastructure, that circular prosperity, value flow staying within communities, capability development resources locally, building resilience out to that 7-island scenario we touched on. Trust and transparency is key in infrastructure. And the main thing is really building the seeds for tomorrow. So planting a seed today that the generations of the future will be able to sit under its shade. Next slide, please. So we had really good results across our cities and our municipalities. Porirua City Council, by adopting these frameworks, we've been able to reduce operational costs by 91.8%. And greatly enhance the operational efficiency by building up those capabilities locally. In many cases, we're actually able to deploy digital infrastructure in 2 to 4 weeks, as opposed to traditional 3 to 9 months, while also ensuring more service continuity during disruptions.
Yeah, we operate from a basic framework. That framework is basically just be a good person, help other good people do great things, and help other communities prosper. That's probably one of the main messages I wanted to kind of share is just lead with a good heart and lead with the human in mind. Technology should serve humans, not the other way around.
Yeah, next slide, please. So as we build out these frameworks and really test it with our local knowledge of the vulnerabilities in our region, we foresee that these will become a template that can replicate across the wider region of Asia Pacific. And you and your cities might also be able to develop templates for your own vulnerabilities. And so we ask that, we digitize humanity together and really cooperate on building out these frameworks and these templates on how we can translate our outcomes, the goals and desires of our people into technology.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much, John and Leon, and for your inspiring presentation and also different perspective, especially, shaping smart cities based on the communities and the needs of the people and vulnerability. Thank you very much for your invaluable contribution. And I know that's the kind of the after working hours in Wellington. I don't want to disturb you anymore. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Awesome. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye. Kia ora. Bye-bye. So let's go to the next series of the discussions here. So we want to actually kindly invite honorable mayors to present their projects based on their submissions. So we have around 5 to 6 minutes for each mayor actually to kindly review their slides. And just for your information, especially for limitations and future projects, we'll have like 15 minutes, kind of the breakout room discussions there. So again, we'll come back to that slides and we'll use that and the kind of the discussions for the group discussions and breakthrough rooms. Thank you very much. Next, go to the first slide there. Yeah. First mayor. Next slide, please. Yeah, may I invite, the mayor for Del Carmen actually to present the work, I think from Philippines. That's right.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, my video is still pretty much broken.
Oh, that's absolutely fine. Thank you. Thank you. Floor is yours, Mayor. Thank you.
Give me a few seconds. Let me just open from
worries.
the end. By the way, congratulations, amazing presentation.
Well, thank you. It's a kind of technical issue. We can come back to you as the next one.
Got it. So I am Mayor Jer Coro from the Philippines, from Del Carmen. We still follow the same vision as an active citizenry and competent government with a sustainable agri-ecotourism driven economy, and with a mission to deliver quality social services through community-driven development and partnership. Our goal with the development of the smart city, it's actually smart and sustainable, as we were corrected by our minister. Sustainable should be a key principle in developing smart and smarter communities. So there are 5 main agendas for us. One is a smart and available government, similar to what was presented earlier, with services delivery available 24/7, which looks at availability and accessibility. In terms of our process, we just recently completed our information systems strategic plan, and now we are in the process of implementing the updated ISSP together with process improvements focused on ISO and providing digital services. And to make sure that our human resources are adept, we are adhering to the Philippine Civil Service Commission and implementing an HRM process that allows very transparent progression of the employees, with our expectation to be able to improve services and hopefully have a satisfied constituency. So in the end, there's always a check and balance in terms of the service infrastructure if we are delivering to what they need and what they want. The second focus is disaster risk reduction and management. We are located on the eastern seaboard of the Philippines, which means we have 4 months of typhoon annually. The most devastating recent one was last December 2021. So we want to focus on smarter way of managing risks and disasters with CCTVs, automated weather systems, and notification systems. And of course, it has to be complemented by, again, human resource development with a very simple target of 0 deaths during disasters. And hopefully, again, a satisfied constituency. So for the third one, next slide. It's about smarter health, education, and nutrition. The objective is quality of life and family. So we are trying to tap into AI for health, education, and nutrition. Right now, we are looking into integrating health, education, and nutrition systems with a child-centric model. Again, there is a target for our improvement of the resource capacity and better government services, and again, a satisfied constituency. The highlight here is the AI, because we have already evaluated a few systems. Simple systems like CanMigo that allows students to have remedial classes using AI, and for health, it's the same. There are available tech, and of course, nutrition is the bottom line to address this. Then the next is smarter electricity and mobility. Because of our very expensive power cost in the Philippines, I think there is a need for us to really focus on power and mobility, as we are still pretty much dependent on fossil fuel. So we are looking into transitioning towards EVs and REs more in terms of our availability for both charging EVs and renewable energies. And when we're talking about EVs, it's not just land mobility, it's also seaborne. So the boats are being transitioned as well to EVs. We are testing a few this year if it will be accepted by our community. And the last is smarter food and environmental security. So being a protected landscapes and seascapes, we are very focused on environmental security first and foremost. And of course, complementing environmental security is food security. And we are now in the process of trying to implement AI integration to available space data that we are trying to tap into with the microsatellites being launched by the Philippines to be able to understand climate and threat coming from environmental hazards. We are also going to increase capacity, but we have also acknowledged that as a local government, we may never be able to have the resource capacity to implement or utilize AI. So we have tapped into a partnership with our state university, the academia, as our main partner in implementing this particular modality of the smart city transition. Then the indicator will be better farm yield, fish catch, and healthier ecosystems. And in the end, of course, it's always about satisfied constituency. So it just gives you a picture of our current goals, and currently we are now in the process of implementing most of this on trial scale, and hopefully if it works, then there is an agenda to scale it and replicate it in other islands in the Philippines and beyond. Thank you, and good day to all.
Thank you very much, Mayor, for sharing very interesting projects and initiatives you have. Let's go to the next mayor. We have, I think, is on the list. May I invite Mayor Suryo Daya to
Yes, Surya municipal. Yeah,
Thank you very much,
thank
Honorable
you
Mayor.
so much, sir.
Floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. So these are our vision, plan and policy strategies. Visions: efficient, transparent, and accessible public the administrations for all and at minimum cost. This is our visions. And we have the key plans is according to the 5 years period of the Surya. Promote efficient, transparent, and accessible public service through the digital governments. And second one is for the develop smart urban infrastructures, lightning, parkings, waste and zoning using ICT. Strengthen the disasters resilience with real-time digital platforms and GIS tools. And the policies to make public service and facilities timely, transparent, efficient, impartial, swift, and accessible from the home at low cost. This is our policies and strategies. It's promote ICTs friendly governments through the digital office operations, and another is expanding private internet access, making much citizen digital literacy trend. Next slide, please. These are the developed and potential smart technologies. And state light, we have the solar powered light and planning smart and solar light. The disaster and smart disaster management. This is we have the already done risk zone mappings and community rescue teams we have in our municipality, and also bulk SMS we have, and GIS based land use planning we are using in our municipality. Also RVS means rapid rapid visual screening we have in our municipality. And third one is a digital house numbering we are doing using GIS and GPS, and QR based systems for the service and employment plannings. It is ongoing in our municipality. Fourth is fiber expansion, internet access in all wards. We have the 14 wards in our municipality. Also schools we have health boost, and all the government institutional. We have the fiber expansions. We have already finished. And CC cameras is expanded in urban areas. Footpaths expanding in city areas. And also we have less paper technologies in our municipality, online portals, payments, live broadcastings, and good governments for the good governments in our municipality. And even we are in the meetings, we are using paperless and live. The GPS trackings, vehicles tracking and vehicles and other which we have in our municipality. Municipality transportation master plan we have already finished in our municipality. Categorized of all roads within the municipality with GIS and GPS based systems. And also we have the QR code citizens complaint in our municipality. Next, please. Next slide, please. And it is our future plan, future smart technology project and our policies. The first one is smart infrastructure, solar power leads, smart parking, accessible footpaths with the IoT bins, fund pilots, teach and partnerships, and digital government, smart city halls, GIS and QR based house numberings, mobile apps, cyber security, digital literacy learnings. And this is another is urban mobility, smart footpaths, smart parking, cycling, and pedestrians zones, accessible standards. And environment waste management, IoT and IoT based waste systems, recycling, solar energy, waste to energy pilots, anti-dumping enforcement. Then another is the smart identity and mapping. GIS for housing membering, land use zoning, and public access map, GIS trainings. Disaster management, risk zone mappings, online community rescue teams, GIS zoning, IoT hazard sensors, and preparedness campaigns. These are our future smart technology and project and policies in our municipality. Next slide, please. Challenges and route ahead. This is a statutory. No clear the national smart city for policies and guidelines within the local levels. We learned about the dimension, 6 dimension of the city, smart city. Also, we incorporated all the smart city or the areas within with the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. So it gave us some bit knowledge today. And institutions were limited technical expertise among staffs. We are trying our level best, but still we have the limited technical person who knows about the knowledge about the smart cities. And another is coordination issues between the department and stakeholder. Still we have the problems in understanding, and also the implementations. The infrastructure also, we have limited fiber optics coverage. In 2016, it has started from only 2016 here in my municipality. It is totally west part of Nepal. Even it is totally borders with India. It is very the border of India. Just now we got the fiber optics for all our wards here in the municipality, 14 wards. If we don't have the optical fiber in the municipality, in the cables, it gets the problem to implement our to make the smart cities. So infrastructure also we have the challenges, and another is the powers. We have already I told about the powers and financial. Also, this is a high cost for the smart technology development. So we have limited resources. So we have the problem is financial also, and in the municipality there is limited budget. So these are the financial challenge. And other is low digital literacy among the citizens. We should have the knowledge about the literacy of the digitals, and they have to use after the implementations of the smart cities and our different types of tools of the IT. Otherwise, they will not be succeed. The third is resistance to technology in the rural areas. These are the other challenges. This much for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor, for sharing the points here. Thank you very much. May I invite the mayor, the honorable mayor of Banda Aceh from Indonesia, actually, to kindly present her work. I think she's here. The floor is yours, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me today to convey a very important thing that the Banda Aceh city government has done in the context of the implementing smart technology. The Banda Aceh city government's vision for a smart city is optimizing bureaucratic reform and governance. This is outlined in Banda Aceh City Strategic Plan and the Regional Apparatus Organization Work Plan. In terms of policy, Banda Aceh City, the government has legislated 5 mayoral regulation to support the implementation of smart technology. Two of the most important regulation are Banda Aceh Mayoral Regulation number 18 year 2020 concerning smart city in Banda Aceh City and Banda Aceh Mayoral Regulation number 2020 year 20 two concerning the implementation of an electronic-based government system in Banda Aceh City. These regulations are outlined in 6 priorities program of Banda Aceh City government for the next 5 years, such as data management and information system for investment population, human resource development, cryptography, and national industry. The Banda Aceh City government has developed 2 fundamental documents that are crucial for building a smart city of the future. First, the Banda Aceh Smart City Master Plan 2019-2029. Second, the architecture and plan map for the Banda Aceh electronic-based government system 2021-2026. These two base planning documents serve as the city government's blueprint for building Banda Aceh, a city of the future. Next, some smart technologies that have been implemented in Banda Aceh include first, the public service mall, which provide online license services through the online single submission, Si Cantik, and smart application of integrated license services for public. Second, the Banda Aceh Command Center, which is a command and monitoring center to coordinate and monitor various programs and activities related to the smart city. Third, Open Data Banda Aceh, a website-based data portal that provides sectoral data from its regional operator organization. This data is one of the indicators used the decision-making and regional policy-making under Synergy. Fourth, Synergy, the villages, the city department news information system. And fifth, Sihati Online, an application that simplifies the processing of the population document. And six, Sinansikula is an integrated school administration management information system for students, teachers, and parents. Next. Okay. Based on analysis of the future condition, the result of SWOT study, and the level of regional readiness, one of the priority programs for the realizing smart governance in Banda Aceh City is development of an integrated data processing system. This innovation is realized through a program called the Banda Aceh Command Center. This program is motivated by the lack of an integrated information system based on the one data concept, as well as the suboptimal implementation of the executive information system and decision support system to support data-driven decision-making. Therefore, efforts are needed to integrate all data and service available within the city government, including connectivity with existing resource and surveillance devices. Currently, the City Operations Center is Banda Aceh City is only used to monitor the CCTV network in several locations in the city. The future utilization of the CAOC will be maximized to provide strategic benefits for both the local government and the community. With the availability of real-time open public data, the government can formulate data-driven policymaking, while academic and the business community can utilize the data for research and innovation. Next. To ensure the optimal implementation of this program or smart technology project, the Banda Aceh City government need to anticipate and address various potential risks during the implementation. One of the main risks related to the availability of the electricity, reduce the impact of power outage. Mitigation measure must be implemented through the use of rectifiers and the utilize of the renewable energy. The economic aspect is crucial in smart city implementation, as the success of smart city development depends not only on technology but also on financial capacity, budget efficiency, and long-term economic impact. Local government can establish strategic partnership with the private sector to finance projects such as fiber optic development, smart transportation system, or apps-based services. Besides the economic aspect, security is also a crucial concern, particularly regarding the potential for unauthorized access to the system. To mitigate this, the establishment of a security operation center is necessary to maintain the security in the integrity of the information system. Another risk related to the potential for this disruption due to natural disasters. Therefore, a disaster recovery center with the data mirroring concept outside the region is need to ensure continuity of services in emergency situation. To maintain the sustainability and effectiveness of Banda Aceh Command Center program, strengthening the capacity of human resources involved capacity building must be a priority. In addition, regular maintenance of all existing technological equipment must be carried out consistently. Okay, thank you for your kind attention. I hope the point I've shared today contribute to our future discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor. I really appreciate that. Very interesting, initiatives and explanation about the project. Let's go to next presentation from Mayor of Anoroa. May I invite the Honorable Mayor of the Anoroa municipality from Nepal. Is he around?
All the respected mayor of different cities and members of organizer committee, good morning and namaste. I am Kedar Bhandari, mayor of Anoroa municipality, Nepal.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Thanks for joining. Floor is yours. Please share your
Thank you.
projects. Thank you.
Executive city vision, plan, policy and strategies to support the us of smart technology. All municipal service and recommendation will be different exclusively through digital platforms. E-local governments, GIS and EBPS system will be further integrated for improved efficiency. Social social and physical infrastructure data will be regular update with the development of the open data portal and a digital municipal profile. Technology beside monitoring system will be improvement in community schools. The existing CCTV system in market area will be expanded and better managed. Collaboration with registered local media will continue and municipal activities will be published quarterly to ensure transparency and public awareness. Next slide. smart technology that have already been developed. One, office automatic system, automation system, electronic building permanent system, permit system, EBPS, GPS and matrix based digital house numbering system, sub-national treasury regulatory application, visit vital event and social security registration system, CCTV surveillance in key urban area, portable portfolio analysis and management system, integrated education management information system, health management information system. Next. Please, next slide. Please, next slide.
Next slide, please. Sol.
Other
Thank you.
smart technology project plans and policies. Number 1, comprehensive digital service delivery, smart infrastructure and real-time monitoring, data driving governments and cyber security, enable education and public engagement, transmission system, open data and sustainability, legal and regular, key limitations, legal and regular, outside law and lacks of clear policy for digital government and data provides. Institutional limitation, technology skills, poor interdepartment coordination and absence of smart city units, infrastructure, weak internal internet community, unable power supply and outside system, financial insufficient budget, over reliance on external funding and limited PP model, social and operational, law, digital awareness, digital divide and limited citizens engagement mechanisms. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor of Renova. Thank you very much for sharing your ideas and interesting project. May I invite the Honorable Mayor of the Hulu Selangor to share his projects and ideas with us. The Honorable Mayor of the Hulu Selangor.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, we can. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks. Floor is yours, Mayor.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good day to all fellow mayors, panelists, and esteemed participants. I'm Azhar on behalf of Madam Jalahar, President of Hulu Selangor Municipal Council, and it's an honor to share with you Hulu Selangor aspiration and current progress toward becoming a smart, sustainable, and inclusive city. Can you back to first slide? Hello? Okay. First slide.
Previous one, I think.
This is a second slide. Yes. Okay. Our vision. Back.
The first one with the names and
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will to present a vision. Our vision is to be a smart, sustainable, and dynamic municipality that promotes inclusive development and enhance the well-being to our community. This vision reflects not only our ambition for technological advancements, but also our commitment to sustainability, equality, and quality of life for all. Okay, next. Okay, to operationalize the vision, we have embedded smart and sustainable principle into several strategic document and action plan. One, the Hulu Selangor Local Plan 2035, which integrates smart infrastructure and land use planning. The second, Low Carbon City Action Plan, which align with Malaysia climate target and position us as a green transition leader. Third, MPHS Strategic Plan 2024 until 2028, we where we prioritize digital transformation and innovation in service delivery. Smart Selangor Initiative, which connect us to broader state-level digital infrastructure program. And finally, our voluntary local review 2023 and SDG City Roadmap, we strengthen our role in tracking and reporting SDG progress locally in line with national and global framework. Next. Okay, for policy and strategy, our smart city strategy is built on three pillars. One is smart municipality. This include e-payment and licensing platform, smart infrastructure like CCTV, smart lighting, and environmental sensor and enhanced data-driven government. The second, sustainable municipality. Here we focus on climate resilient actions such as urban farming, low carbon program, and biodiversity conservation, especially our forest and water catchment. And the third one, dynamic municipality. This involves empowering the community through participatory planning, support for local entrepreneur, and the creation of inclusive and vibrant public space. Next. Okay. For existing smart initiative, let me now share some of the smart technology we have already adopted in Hulu Selangor. One is in government. We have digitalized city service requests. Urban planning approval are now done through e-submission. The third, financial service, use e-payment system. For sport and recreation, facilities are accessible through online booking. For safety, has been enhanced with a growing network of digital civilian camera. We are also seeing impactful change in energy and transport. For example, smart street lighting with performance tracking are being rolled out. Parking is now cashless with an e-payment system, and we have introduced smart traffic light in busy area. Our smart dashboard integrate data for better monitoring, and we have also introduced MPHS Go, our city apps, along with smart Selangor buses to improve mobility and connectivity. For future smart project, next. Okay, next. Next. Next slide, sir. Okay. For future smart project, looking ahead, we are excited to introduce 4 major upcoming smart project. The one, Hulu Selangor Urban Observatory, HSUO. This will be a central platform to collect, analyze, and report data for evidence-based governance. It will support planning, service delivery, and SDG monitoring. The second one is Smart Pole. This will integrate smart lighting connectivity features such as 5G and Wi-Fi and environmental sensor to enhance safety, communication, and sustainability. The third one, MyPatel, Smart Mobile License Apps. This is a digital platform to simplify, monitor, and manage business licensing more efficiently which is particularly helpful for smart traders and startups. And for Smart Geo, this platform use spatial data to support disaster management, tourism planning, and urban development. For example, we can use it to map tourist hotspot, predict flood zones, and optimize emergency response. For key limitation, of course, we are mindful of the challenge. Okay, financial limitation mean we need to be selective and strategic. Next, digital access gap remain, especially in our rural community. We face a shortage of technical and data skill personnel, and there are institutional and legal barrier were outdated regulation sometimes hinder digital transformation. Okay, for way forward to overcome this challenge, we believe in strong partnership. We are actively engaging with the Selangor state government, federal agency, NGOs, academia, and private sector stakeholder. By aligning resources, sharing knowledge, and co-developing solutions, we believe Hulu Selangor can become a model for smaller yet ambitious municipalities in Malaysia and the region. For closing, to close, we understand that building a smart city is not only about technology, it is about building trust, inclusion, and shared prosperity. We are committed to embracing innovation not as an end goal, but as a tool to uplift our people and environment. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to learning from your experience and insight during the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the nominee of the Mayor of Holo Selangor. Thank you very much for your presentation and sharing your ideas. May I invite I think the Mayor of the Malay, he's in a meeting, but we have his nominee, and may I invite his nominee actually to present the slides and the projects instead of the Mayor. Floor is yours. The nominee of the Mayor of the Malay is here. No? The Mayor of Malay or nominee of the Malay? No? So if
Hello.
the Mayor,
Yes.
Oh,
Mayor is currently in a meeting with the Minister of Finance.
sure. No worries at all. So yeah, floor is yours, so you can speak on the behalf of the Mayor if you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. Floor is yours.
Thank you everyone for this opportunity to present on behalf of Mayor of Male City. So I would like to present about Male City, the existing plans of smart city in our city, and also what we have moving forward and what are the possibilities for us to integrate smart technology into our infrastructure. So Male City is actively working towards becoming a digitally empowered and resilient urban center. So as we know, we are a very small island nation, and we are all the majority of the people, as most of the small island developing nation cities live in the capital. So similarly, 40% of our nation's population live in our city, Male City. Hence, we have a very difficult time managing everything because of the limitations of resources and the huge number of people who are living in a very small space. Hence, we believe with digital transformation, it will help us empower, make the city more resilient through strategic goals and action plans. So it will make us more modernized with digital governance, and it will make us more easily to communicate between the residents and the council to make it more community centered. So building on this foundation, let's look at the smart technologies already in use and those that could further support our goals. So can you move to the next slide? So already we are using a digital complaint systems, so which is coming from the website, as you can see in the picture here. So we have an active website where you can lodge complaints, but it is not very efficient because we also every month we do a test where we lodge a complaint and we look at the time it takes for the complaint to be solved. So now it takes around 5 days for a complaint to be lodged, to be moved into the specific department, and an action to be taken. So it is, even though in the interface it is digital, manual work has to be done at the back end. Because when you lodge a complaint, a person from the office, an administrative task has to filter out the complaints and send it to the relevant department. For example, if a resident lodges a complaint about a pothole on the road, it will not directly go to the relevant road development department. It will only go to a sheet where an administrative staff has to take it, inform to the uh, relevant department. So we already have a digital complaint system, but it is not as efficient. So next one is GIS mapping. So we still haven't launched this. We are in the final stages of implementing the GIS mapping, which will help us with GPS positions to better allocate land for different things like green areas, areas for parks, infrastructures, and also better land borders of houses. So it will help us uh, better manage our land infrastructures. And moreover, even the applications we are only digitalized in the front end, means you can submit for birth certificate also, you can submit the application form with relevant documents to our website, but at the back end, somebody will print it again and then send it to the relevant department. So even though there is a digital component to it, it is not fully digital because the administrative work at the back end is all done in the similar way. Because you're printing it again and then just using the same system you used before it became digital. So we are already working on implementing the backend system to be more digital. So we have already made the TORs. We are already working with some developers to incorporate the front end with the backend so that the whole process will be digital, and then which will help minimize the time it takes to answer to a complaint. Also, we are also working with other parties like Fix My Street. Fix My Street, like for the digital complaint system, we are in coordination with a company called Fix My Street, where we can use their system to incorporate it into our website, where you can drop pins to the location and report the problem, where it will be directly reported to the relevant department. So I think the time it takes to answer to a complaint will be minimized greatly. So the potential technologies we have is in the future, what we can do is use smart waste technologies. So using bins, now we don't know whether the bins are full or whether the bins are empty. And we manage more than 30 mosques in Mali city. So in the mosque, usually 3 or 4 days it takes for a bin to get full. So if we use smart waste collection bins, we will have better data and better understanding of when to go remove the bin and clear it. So the next one is traffic flow. So traffic flow is a major problem in Mali city because we have a lot of vehicles, and usually in the peak hours it get cramped. So if we can have a map and then have sensors around the city, where if we can identify the high traffic areas, it will help the citizens remove congestion to improve safety. Even we are connected by a bridge from Male to Hulumale. So if the citizens can in advance check the congestion of the bridge, they can better plan their meetings. And the next one is the citizen app. So with the digitalization, the mobile citizen app will also come where we can track the services we are applying for. We can also get feedback, apply for complaints. And the last one is smart lighting and surveillance. So as we know, councils, it's a challenge because every 5 years a new mayor gets elected. So in the past also smart lighting has been started in collaboration with China government and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but there was no continuation after the next mayor came. So this is one of the challenges of working in a council, because the uh, flow of information, flow of work done in the past, it's a challenge to carry on when a new mayor comes. So now we are looking at communicating again with the relevant authorities, because this is a potential technology where we can use to give awareness. We can use Wi-Fi with the smart lighting. We can collect weather data, which can be useful for the city. So we'll move on to the next slide. So as I mentioned before, future plans that aim to make Male a truly smart city, because Male city is the capital and it's the most congested in the nation. It is a very challenging place to manage and organize. So if we integrate smart infrastructure like linking transport, because Male is the central hub where everything gets connected, even to the islands. The speedboat ferries, they all come to Male, and from Male is the central transit hub for the rest of the country. So the airport, national airport, is also connected in Male city. So if we get better infrastructure where we can track the buses, the ferries, the boats, it will help manage the spaces we have, limited spaces. For example, the harbor. We have a very small harbor where limited boats can enter, but if we can integrate like GPS locations where boats are there, we can minimize track how much boats can enter at the same time, give permits for them, limit their time in the jetties. I think it will make it more inclusive, because now even old people, kids, they have to move on from one boat to another, like 4 boats across, they have to enter the boat. But if we can integrate smart infrastructure similar way, we can reduce the boats in the jetty, making it more inclusive, easier access to the people who have disabilities, who are old. And the next one is digital dashboard for city operations. If we can track real time, monitor service and infrastructure, we can better organize and manage the systems. And the last one is the most difficult problem in Male City, which is a smart parking system. It's so difficult to get a parking space. So if we can put sensors in the parking locations, have it on our app where the free parking spaces are shown on the map, it will be very easy for the vehicles to find a parking space. So it will reduce the carbon footprint as well,
Sorry,
because now we have to go
can you
around.
go faster because we have a limited time, so
Yeah.
it's
And the last one, we'll move on to the last slide. So the key challenges, as I mentioned, can you move on to the last slide? The next slide.
so the next slide, please. So thank you.
Yeah, our key limitations is we lack the legal framework for smart governance, and we don't have institutional. Similarly, I mentioned there is a coordination gap between council and national ministries, and there's no moving forward from one mayor to the other mayor. The knowledge, the capabilities, infrastructure, the plans, everything gets, every mayor starts from fresh. So we need more institutional memory to stay in the council. And also there's gaps in infrastructure where the systems are aging, and our HR human capital is also an aging population. We need to develop more people with more digital literacy. And the last one is the financial constraints we have. So since we are a local government, our budget is very limited while we have to do massive projects and it doesn't match. So overcoming these challenges will be the key to realizing Mali City's smart vision. So thank you for the opportunity, and I hope you learned something about Mali City.
Thank you very much, the nominee of the Mali municipality. We have the last but not the least mayor actually to speak and present his or her.
Yes, hello.
work. Oh, welcome.
Yes,
The floor is yours. Thank you.
Yes, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. Since today is my mayor is on a mission, so I'm here to be have on him to represent our mayors.
Oh, fantastic.
And
Thank
yes, without further delay, since we nearly ran out of time, I would like to go straight to our presentation. Since Kampong Chhnang cities is a little bit too small, that's why today I only pick out some like the important smart technology that we already deploys in our city. As we used to mention before, the Kampong Chhnang cities not only has one vision, there's one vision such as soft city, green city, cleanness, transportation, education, and many others vision. But today I only choose one is only about soft city for our community. Since we think that this is the most priority technology that we are intend to develop and create the pilot project to the cities. And let's move to the next slide. Yes, our city have integrate the public safety and security system, which is both the provincial governor and the city agreed to launch the 59 location of the camps in the city and location in order to monitor the weathers and traffic flow, or like many other happen immediately, so the mayor will know exactly what happened in the specific location. And this is what exactly our city have already deployed, and we would like to introduce to the other fellows. And this public safety and security, like we call it cam, this traffic cams can detect the plate number of vehicle that is provided if emergency needed to the authorities to recognize or to notify what really needed information or data to the authorities. Yes, and for our future technology for our cities is we plan to launch the smart waste bin. Since this is exactly what we really need to create. Like this is what the project that our city really need. Since Kampong Chhnang cities also right now we plan to launch the waste management collection. Like this is the only way that we need to approach with this project by including the smart waste bin technology to connect the internet connected with the container to equip with a sensor or technology to optimize the waste collection, which is improving our efficiency and like urban cleanliness to support the waste management collection projects. And our challenge for this future smart technology is we today I only choose two, which is a priority challenges, which is about higher upfront costs, which is we know that our traditional bin in the cities already have, but we if we want to introduce a smart waste bin into the city, it must be the cost will be decreased over the like our what we expect to create to the like to the community. And one more about our challenge is the connectivity and power. Since this smart waste bin will be required a reliable network, which is cover and power source, such as power or solar, something like that. It will be a challenge for our cities to solve this problem.
Thank you.
And
We have a very short, time though, so yeah, please make it shorter. And then
okay. So yes, that's it. It's all about this. Yes, it also yes.
Thank you very much indeed. Sorry for interruption. Well done. And thank you very much all the mayors and nominees actually for sharing their interesting projects. And sorry, it took longer than we expected for the first half. So it was quite intense and we really enjoyed it. I hope you find it quite helpful and enjoyable as well. We'll have like a 10 minutes break and then we all come back. Thank you again and see you in 10 minutes. Thank you very much indeed. Welcome back, honorable mayors. If you are here, we can continue our session. So for the second half, we have a couple of the speakers, and also we modified a little bit our initial plan, and instead of break room through rooms, we'll have a kind of the panel explanation about the limitations and opportunities here regarding your projects, though, to actually fit everything in the time frame. And it's great to have you all again. And for next presentation, we have Dr. Wen Shunji from the ESCAP, and she will kindly explain her project about the smart transport and enhancing sustainability and inclusive urban transport through mobility innovations. Floor is yours, Dr. Wei. You are here?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much, Mohsen.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, dear mayors. I am delighted to be here today to introduce some of our work on transport and to also introduce the topic of mobility and focusing on how to achieve inclusive mobility through smart innovations. Next slide, please. And so just very briefly, I think we've heard some of these examples of transport challenges in some of the previous presentations, including congestion and also parking. And we have done an overview of some of the key challenges in Asia and the Pacific, and some of these points listed here on this slide are just some of the key highlights. We know that many cities and countries are facing increasing use of energy in the urban transport sector, and also because of the increase in demand, we're also seeing increase in congestion, and also changes in urban design has led to urban sprawl, resulting in long travel time. Air pollution and CO2 emissions have also been highlighted as some of the key challenges, not just in our region, but globally. And one specific topic that I will be focusing on in my presentation will, of course, be the social exclusion from urban transport systems. Road safety is another issue, even though it's beyond the scope of our discussion today. I know that that's also a concern for many cities around the world. And we've also heard about financing as one of the key challenges from the mayors who have presented, and that's also something that ESCAP is working closely with our member states and stakeholders to address. Next slide, please. And just to give everyone a quick overview of the growth in motorization, I have included this slide in my presentation. So the definition of motorization is basically the number of vehicles per 1,000 population. And so in Asia and the Pacific, this motorization rate is still relatively low compared to other regions. And despite the relatively low motorization rate, we have seen rapid increases across the region, and specifically in East and Northeast Asia, as well as in Southeast Asia, as you can see from this bar chart. So the mean motorization rate for the entire region has actually grown from 230 to 378 within just a span of 12 years. Leading to an increase of 64%. And so this is projected to continue to increase to 2050 due to rapid urbanization, motorization, and population growth. Next slide, please. And the increase in emissions is, of course, just one of the externalities due to the increase in transport demand. And I just want to briefly share how Asia is contributing to CO2 emissions compared to the rest of the world. So in fact, more than 60% of CO2 emissions from urban transport come from private vehicles. But based on the previous slide that I've shown, we know that the mean motorization is still relatively low in the region, which means that there is still a great potential for growth. And it's also critical that we address ways to allow the growth in transport to occur in a more sustainable and, of course, inclusive manner. Next slide, please. And so at ESCAP, we have been looking at some of these challenges and to create policy solutions with our member states. And we have a flagship publication that was launched in 2021 with a specific theme on urban transport. So this flagship publication is in fact a biannual publication. So every edition has a specific theme. And so in 2021, that was a specific theme on urban transport. And we've actually highlighted some of these key policy insights. And I will not go into the details, but I've included a link, and I do believe that you will have access to the slides. So you're very welcome to look into this report for more details. But I just want to highlight that the social inclusiveness and safety are two areas that have been included in our analysis. And it's also something that we have observed to be less developed in many cities or countries on a national level in Asia Pacific. And so I think different cities have already addressed different challenges that have been shown on this slide, but the policies that can actually support social inclusiveness, especially in transport, is still lacking in many cities. Next slide, please. And so what is the role of transport in social integration, and why do we care about inclusive transport? So you may know that the definition of sustainable development actually includes a social dimension. And so by definition, inclusive transport is in fact an integral part of sustainable transport development. And so without having greater social inclusion in our transport systems, it will be challenging to achieve sustainable transport in general. And so inclusive transport infrastructure and services will also create greater economic and social benefits, not just for specific social groups, but in fact for all transport users. And this is because such services or infrastructure can actually create greater accessibility to different job opportunities, education, healthcare, and so forth. And one of the key reason why we should also care about the social inclusion of transport is that such services could actually provide equal access to different resources and opportunities for all user groups. Next slide, please. And so last year, we've actually conducted a survey among our member states, and we have identified the top three challenges and priorities in inclusive transport mobility in Asia Pacific. So as you can see on the left, we have the top three challenges, which include the lack of capital for inclusive transport design, the lack of roadmap or knowledge on inclusive transport design, and also the lack of awareness of the importance of inclusive transport development. And so we have, in fact, taken these challenges into account when designing some of our newer projects this year. The priorities for countries within this scope is to recognize transport challenges faced by different user groups. So many countries have conducted different surveys or included social inclusion related questions in their household travel surveys. So that's also one of the more common ways to better understand the different challenges, different preferences, different priorities of different user groups. And this could be persons with disabilities, this could be older persons, women, and also children. The second priority is to allocate financial resources to support inclusive transport development. So we know that budget is tight everywhere. However, there are ways to integrate the design of inclusive transport into different types of budget, either on a local level or even on a national level. And this could also be part of the greater mainstreaming of social inclusion in transport development. The third priority is to design inclusive transport mobility roadmaps and action plans. So this is also an indication that countries or cities or different levels of governments do need some kind of guidance to better understand what kind of policies could actually support the enhancement or the improvement of social inclusion in transport. Next slide, please. And so the same survey has also shown that there are existing policies and measures that have already been implemented across countries in Asia and Pacific. So I'm only listing 3 examples, but they could broadly be categorized into different types of policies to enhance safety and accessibility for persons with disabilities, and to also encourage participation or the contribution of inputs from different user groups. So to really communicate with persons with disabilities, for example, to really understand what their travel needs are and how different policies can actually better address their needs. In India, there are also many different policies and measures, including guidelines, that have been used to improve accessibility in terms of the infrastructure for persons with disabilities as well. And the third example is from the Philippines, where there are also different pricing policies, perhaps discounts or subsidies that could actually support and to help persons with disabilities or older persons to access public transport services. Next slide, please. And so how does innovation comes into the picture? So at ESCAP, we have also looked at the nexus between smart mobility and inclusive transport. And we've actually found that there are different ways in which smart transport systems can support the development of greater inclusive transport, both in terms of infrastructure design and services. And so the definition of smart transport systems is essentially the combination of ICT, information and communications technology, with transport. And this could actually be supporting different types of infrastructure, vehicles, and even services. And so we have also seen a lot of different new mobility services or emerging mobility services that have actually applied such technologies in urban transport. And so this could also be defined as smart mobility. In fact, many of the smart mobility applications are also starting to develop more user-oriented and customized services. So instead of having a very generic public transport service, for example, there could be smaller bus services, for example, that could tailor to the needs of different user groups and to support the first and last mile challenges in many cities. One of the key characteristics of smart mobility, especially in urban areas, is that it's also intrinsic to the development of smart cities. So without smart mobility, it will be, in fact, challenging to achieve the different goals of smart cities that I've also heard earlier today. And so it really has the potential to improve both sustainability and social inclusion in different cities. Next slide, please. And so there are different benefits of smart transport systems, and I think many of your cities already have such technologies. And so I will not go into the specific details and the specific examples, but just in general, we have seen that smart mobility can actually help utilize existing transport infrastructure. So such technologies can actually link the services across different modes, for example, and to really enhance the user experience, especially when there are users that need to use different modes on the same day, for example. There are also benefits in terms of increasing the accessibility and connectivity of residents in a specific urban area, that with the use of such systems, we can actually not just improve the user experience, but to also increase accessibility in terms of reducing travel time, for example, and also reducing travel costs. And the third benefit is to enhance transport efficiency, and to also hopefully reduce congestion and so forth, reduce travel time. And the fourth benefit is, of course, to reduce the inequality of transport services, and to make sure that no one is left behind and that all social groups will be able to benefit from the different types of transport services that are being provided in different cities. Next slide, please. And so I have a few examples that I just want to quickly highlight. And so these are all actual examples, actual policies and services that are implemented in different cities in Asia and the Pacific. So this is an example in Singapore where there is on-demand bus services. And so this could actually provide tailored design and customized transport services for persons with disabilities, for example, or any kind of transport users. And this is, the buses are in fact run by, I think there are electric buses as well. And so it could also achieve the sustainable transport goals in many cities. And it also has an app, it's also an app-based mobility service, which could also help commuters in remote areas who actually do not have access or sufficient access to the conventional public transport services. Next slide, please. So this is also another example. It's also an app-based mobility service. It's called Safety Pin. This app was actually started in India, but it's now a global app. So it was designed to make public spaces safer and more inclusive for women. And so there are safety scores that are being generated depending on where someone is located, and to make better, safer, and hopefully more inclusive choices through this app. Next slide, please. And this is again another app-based mobility service. It's actually a wheelchair accessible shared mobility service that actually allows persons with disabilities to move easily around their communities. Next slide, please. So again, this is another app that we've seen being deployed in different cities. Next slide, please. So I know that I'm running out of time, so just very quickly, we have actually developed a set of guidelines on enhancing social inclusion and innovations in urban transit systems. And this was launched earlier this year. Again, the link is included here on the slide. There are 5 different categories that we have identified, and each category comes with another set of strategies. And so there are quite diverse in terms of the types of policies that will need to be implemented, but they could be categorized into these 5 main categories, including data collection and analysis, mainstreaming social inclusion in urban transport, which is something that I've already mentioned, that we do need to implement social inclusion, the concept of social inclusion in transport development at the very early stages. And also to integrate transport innovation for social inclusion, and of course, to enhance capacity building and awareness raising, and lastly, to promote inclusive consultation and collaboration across different user groups. Next slide, please. And there are also implementation measures, which I'll not go into details, but you can read a little more about this in our report. But also I just want to highlight that it is very critical to allow cross-sectoral collaboration. So not just within one specific sector. This is not just a transport sector problem. We do need to enhance better collaboration across different sectors and not just focus on one specific sector. So next slide, please. Okay, I think this is my last slide. So, and I just want to highlight that we do have a regional roadmap that was also developed on sustainable smart transport systems in Asia Pacific, where you can read a little more about different guidelines and different examples where the use of digital technologies can better enhance sustainability and social inclusiveness in transport.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Yes.
Wei. Thank you very
Okay,
much
thank
for
you.
your presentation. I really appreciate that. Very interesting, reports and presentation, and yeah, very insightful. Thank you for your time. May I invite Matthew Perkins from ESCAP, actually. And Matthew, it would be great if you just cover it in 10 minutes, please, because we have kind of the problem regarding timing. Thank you.
Thanks very much for this chance to present to the group today. And yes, I'll do my best to get us on schedule and set the stage for the next presentation. So I just would like to share my screen to go through the couple of slides that I've prepared on the subject of data, artificial intelligence, air pollution, and urbanization. So in ESCAP's case, it has been a longstanding priority for us to provide data to link science, policy, and action on the areas that we support our member countries. In this context, particularly for urban air pollution, we developed a methodology to link data with policy action at the local level, and that publication is available on our website for anyone to review to get all of the details contained within that. But I'm just going to very briefly summarize what our experience was with that project and initiative. In the context of that outreach, we spent a lot of resources developing a customized machine learning system to help the decision-making authorities in Chiang Mai understand what impact on air pollution different types of action would have. This was very helpful as a policy simulation device to be able to make intelligent choices. In that context, this was really expensive and difficult to make. And frankly, probably out of the reach for most small and mid-sized cities that would benefit from this type of insight. So very helpful, but also very expensive. Additionally, many of the cities that we deal with in the ESCAP area have significant data availability issues for this type of modeling. There are definitely solutions, and there are things that can be done to really develop some very finely tuned scientific findings. And we've done that in some cases. But I think this really emphasizes the question of how much science do you need as a mayor to be able to make reasonable policy choices for your city. So we'll explore that theme throughout this presentation. In this context, major air pollutants are generally well scoped for most of the cities that we're dealing with. Remote sensing data has become significantly more available in the last 5 to 10 years. Low-cost sensor networks have been deployed at large scale by many cities, and the degree of basic data availability to determine source apportionment has really come by leaps and bounds in the last several years. So whereas 5 years ago, there was a lot more emphasis on enhancing sensor networks, we've come a long way. And I think we'll be able to look here at whether or not we have enough data in hand for policy action to take place for most of our cities. Some of the new tools that we've had really become popularized in the last couple of years pivot around the use of artificial intelligence applications. And we've seen what that has been able to deliver in terms of making research cheaper, making the work of academics, making data analysis much more accessible than it ever has been before. That comes with pros and cons, but in general, these tools have opened a lot of doors, particularly for cities that may be facing resource constraints. So in that context, we've seen that there's really been a significant shift in the availability of data to support decision-making for mayors, governors, and national leaders that have their own sets of pros and cons in what is really a very fast-moving field. So within the scope of this presentation, I'm going to break out of the PowerPoint to briefly walk through a live demonstration of some of these to be able to emphasize this point. So the tool that I'm going to be using for the purposes of this demonstration is Perplexity, and I've chosen that purely because it bundles a number of different AI engines within it. It's not a product endorsement, but it's convenient for the purposes of this presentation. So in preparation for this, I've generated 3 cases that are for each of for 3 of the mayors in this call, basically randomly selected. But I wanted to illustrate the capacity of these tools to make the available scientific data available to you and to translate that into action. So even coming to AI tools with prompts like this, very basic, not particularly complex, at this stage returns a lot of actionable data in order to inform choices. I don't know if it's going to be possible for us to open microphones and discuss any of this, particularly given the time, but I would very much like to hear from our folks on the call from Malaysia on whether or not these findings ring true to them. In this context, it's always very important with these tools to really drill into the sources that are being used for these kinds of analyses to make sure that there are no hallucinations or errors in that regard. So once we start with that empowered research, moving then to direct actions is just a matter of an additional prompt. Work that normally would take an extensive amount of individual resources can really come with an initial draft very quickly, and we can then turn to experts to ground truth the information and make sure that it is truly actionable. So this links directly from the causes of air pollution in the city in question to the project proposals, and then onward opportunities for collaboration. In that context, I also duplicated this path for Kampong Chang in Cambodia. I see they're with us on the call. It would be great to be able to discuss some of these findings, but to stay within the time, I will not do that. But I do want to highlight that in addition from going from the science to project, we can also use these tools to really reduce the cost of operationalization. So the recommending specific tangible projects is very well supported by the existing tool base. And then I would like to highlight that, in this example, I went from the science to the projects directly to write me a draft official letter to request assistance on these projects, which the system then did in English, which is questionably useful for Cambodian counterparts. And so I then requested that the letter be rendered in Khmer. All of this took about 10-15 minutes to package this entire workflow. So with the additional time to validate these findings, we can really see how the capacity to go from academic research to project ideas to operationalizing has been tremendously accelerated by the use of these tools. There we go. So I also did a similar approach with Band Aceh. It was great to see their presentation earlier, obviously comparatively advanced in a lot of their smart city applications that they have undertaken. So here's that same business process, starting with the data, getting the findings, checking the academic sources, and then moving, in this case, to make me recommendations on health-related projects, and where am I going to get funding for this? After having analyzed the key elements of what funding would be available under Indonesian, what funding mechanisms could be consulted, I thought, well, let's just really personalize this. And I asked the system to draft an official letter to the Executive Secretary of ESCAP requesting technical cooperation funds to implement exactly the project that was proposed with the breakdown of the budget and all of these elements. Obviously, all of these findings would need to be subject to the review by someone with actual expertise. And we saw that very clearly in this use case because the AI is not technically aware of the correct name of the mayor of Banda Aceh. So we do see the pros in the way things can be accelerated and made more accessible, where the findings from data and academic research can be sort of turbocharged, but also the capacity for these tools to have short-sighted failures and the need for having humans in the loop to review this and make sure that what decisions are being taken and what products are going out are really reviewed and seen to be what they need to be. So I hope that you have seen how these tools can really help your offices extend their human resources to be able to come up with operationalizable projects, to find financing, to get those letters out the door, to start things moving. I think the level of empowerment that this can bring to mayoral offices is way beyond where we were 2, 5, and 7 years ago. And very much looking forward to hearing what Matt's presentation will bring to us on the topic of AI in these regards. But I did want to close my presentation today just with an offer to all of the mayoral offices that are on the call here. I will be very happy to work with all of your offices personally. Any of you that want specific assistance with using AI tools in the context of taking your projects forward, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to schedule a meeting or a call to work with you individually to help you suitably utilize these AI tools in moving your projects forward. So I'm going to leave it there so we can try to recover the time, but very much available to take questions or offer further support, and good luck.
Well, thank you very much, Matthew. It was very fantastic to see that how you translate actually academic things to the kind of practical one, and also use it the very context-based and the language barrier as well, and using AI as a capacity there, which was very problematic in the past actually for all of us. Thank you. I think it's a quite good bridge for the next project, especially from the Matthew Inzer from New Zealand. So I want to invite Matthew if he's around, because it's quite, sorry Matthew, it's quite late, I know that. So floor is yours, and but please keep it in the lower than 10 minutes actually. Sorry about this. To make the
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wilson, and thanks, Matthew, for that the use of Perplexity to really have a look at the data. Yeah, I certainly learned something from that. So mine is really quite a simple presentation. It's just about as we design public services, how can we use AI to basically get better satisfaction at lower cost? So if you can move on to the next slide, this is just me. The important thing there is I started a AI startup back in 2018, and our mission was no voice left behind. And so this was because there was so much work that government was doing, and the ability to hear from the community was getting less and less as consultation moved online, because various cultures just didn't use online methods really. They were used to face-to-face. And so the idea was, with the Frankly AI startup, was to create an AI conversational agent which thought in the indigenous language of the culture of the people who were using it. So it wasn't a translation from English. It's thought in that sort of very respectful, formal way. We closed down that startup simply because, well, ChatGPT was invented, which we found actually could do just as good a job. So this presentation is around really quite simply how you can use tools like Perplexity or ChatGPT to improve the design of public services. If we move on, this next slide. This next slide is a Maori proverb, he aha te mea nui o te o, he tangata, he tangata, he tangata, which is translated there. You can read it. What is the most important thing in the world? It is people, it is people, it is people. If we move on to the next slide, you'll see often this is, if you say, you know, give me a shot of Auckland, it'll give you this image, which really isn't the experience or representative of most Aucklanders. This is the CBD. Doesn't really reflect Auckland. If we keep clicking through, you'll see Aucklanders at a market. Wilson, if we can keep clicking.
And I think we can move to the next slide.
Yeah, these are real Aucklanders. So at an Auckland market, Aucklanders watching sport, Aucklanders protesting. These are nurses and doctors. And you can see here the motorway system. You know, 3 cars and one bicycle. So yeah, Aucklanders are quite diverse. This is a great shot, really, just to show if we want to get the best value out of spending on public services and the best satisfaction, the idea is to actually understand the people that we are providing those services to. So we can give standard services, which is the top line, and 3 out of 4 people, you know, have pretty poor satisfaction, or we can adjust the services that we offer so that everyone is able to get full benefit of those services. So if we click on, so here are some 3 engagement methods. First one, very traditional, and it works pretty well. So elected officials representing the people that voted them in, or face-to-face meetings. We have online engagement now. Some of the tools are pretty fantastic and beautiful, but quite limited. But we have this new tool, which is what I'm going to focus on and finish on, broadening community perspectives using AI. So if we click on to the next one, I gave a TED talk or a TEDx talk. You can see me here with the X of TEDx. And it's 11 minutes. You can really have a look if you want to. There's the link. But what I did is I got AI to tell stories of different people getting to a medical appointment at the local hospital. And I asked it to create a story about me, and it was pretty accurate. It said I hopped in my car, I drove there, I got there early, got a park, had a coffee before I met the doctor, got my medicine, and went home. And that's pretty standard, really. That's what I would expect. And then I said, okay, well, tell us some stories about, and in the instance of the TED talk, I said, tell us some stories about the mother in an Afghan refugee family living in Auckland, going to her medical appointment at Auckland Hospital. And basically, she never made it. There were so many barriers in the way in the stories that AI made up. You know, childcare, lack of support, public transport. Man, it was really difficult. And so through these stories, we were able to see how to change the way that we operate Auckland Hospital to best meet the needs of a group that really never would pop up in online consultation or focus groups or marketing or things like that. In fact, we asked the AI, look, what's the one thing that you would say based on the role that you have at the moment, which is the Afghan mother? What would you say to the manager of Auckland Hospital to improve access? And so we're getting these insights just through making AI play different roles. So if we move on, just a couple of things to have a look at. There's some Chinese researchers here. What they did, they used generative AI, and each AI represented a different player in a respiratory ward in a hospital. And so that there might be an AI that played the role of the triage nurse, or played the role of the doctor, or I think there were about 10,000 patients with different symptoms that came in. And what they were able to do through effectively the AI role-playing all of these different things is improve the design and the diagnosis capability of that ward. And here's some research on the right-hand side there, where they just tested to see how good is AI at role-playing individuals or cultures. And what they found, you can see there, about 85% correct. And so it's really challenging us to move on from public consultation, focus groups, marketing groups, and actually just use AI to review the things that we are planning or the services that we offer from the perspective of groups that we might not understand or have shared lived experience with. So to finish off, I'm just going to show you an example of this. So if we click on, so I tried to pick something that none of the people on the call would have done. So this I chose Caltrans strategic plan from 2023 to 2028. And I'm going to ask AI to review this plan from 3 different perspectives. So we'll click on. This is a video. So perhaps if you click one more time, the video will start playing. This is a live screenshot. Oh, no. We can get the video to play. Here we go. So this is a live screen capture of what I did yesterday. No, you need to play the video, Mason. Down the bottom there, it should be, this is a, if not, I can share my screen. This is the most important one. So
Just, I think, Saul, please return to that slide. And I think, because I'm not controlling that, actually, Saul, kindly arranging that process.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. So here we go. So this is the video I recorded. So you can see I'm just in ChatGPT. I'm going to add that that file. And then I'm going to ask a really simple question. Can you review this strategy from the perspective or about the spelling of the following groups? The first one is mothers with young children. So hopefully Caltrans have taken them into account. Second one, slightly perhaps less considered, recent foreign arrivals with poor language and limited resources. In other words, yeah, folk who have just arrived with no money and can't speak the language. And then finally, business people who are commuting to the CBD. And I'm going to ask what format I want that in, or tell it what format I'm going to. I'm just going to say write up a format, a formal report, and that's it. So let's see what happens. So it's going to read the Caltrans strategy, and it takes about, this is all live, real time. I didn't speed this up, and it's going to tell me what it's thinking about. So you can see it needs to gather insights on how each group would be affected by the strategy and then structure a formal report based on their needs and challenges. It's about understanding that context, ! So within a few seconds, what we'll see is it will have done its analysis. And here we go. It writes me up a nice little formal report. I'll just move that down on the video. And what you can see is it's got the links to the report, so you can find out where those are. And here comes my analysis. So it's saying what the needs are of each of those groups, quite different needs. It's saying where the plan has strengths, which is good for Caltrans, that those strengths are there, but here come the gaps. And so it's talking about actually pram boarding infrastructure, baby care facilities at large stops. For the recent foreign arrivals, it's around pictograms or making sure that if they don't have a bank account, they can still use the system. And it's come up with what are relatively low-cost recommendations to improve that strategy based on those user groups. And then it's coming up trying to be helpful. Cross-cutting opportunity sounds a bit more American than I'm used to, but what it means is, what would you do to get the benefit for all 3? So that's it. Normally you'd spend a lot more time than one question. You'd kind of go in and say, well, how do I do it for these groups and this groups? But if we go to the next, actually I might be able to do this. So here's the next slide. I've just got some review questions that you can ask, so you'll be able to read those. You might not realize you can load up plans, designs. So if someone's designed a new road layout, you can just load that up and ask the same questions. And perhaps the last one is the more interesting one: identify ways to reduce the cost without affecting benefits too. And AI will give you, you can specify, I've specified one of the examples I do, reduce the cost by 30%, but don't affect the benefits to, a particular group. So final slide. Really, what AI does is I think it brings together the public, the government, and leadership. No longer are we kind of separated. We can start understanding each other a bit better. So that's my presentation. There's my email address. Thank you, everyone, and kia ora koutou.
Kia ora. Thank you, Matthew, for your time, and especially it's quite late in New Zealand, so thank you very much for sharing your ideas there. We have just 1 or 2 minutes. We have 1 minute actually. Dr. Jennifer will summarize the things. Thank you, Dr. Jennifer, and also we have 1 minute for Dr. Edgar actually to introduce the module 5B. Floor is yours, Dr. Jennifer. Thank you for your work
Thank
and
you.
support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Still loading. Okay. You see my screen?
Yes. Yeah. Thank
Sorry,
you.
different screen. Just a moment. So just quickly, thank you very much to, of course, to Moshen, to all the speakers, and to all the mayors for your presentations. So just a quick insights from Dr. Moshen. He presented about what smart cities really are, the opportunities and pitfalls, and talks about Nexus as well. We had interesting talks about New Zealand cases, particularly on how data is used to actual decision, data to disaster management, for example. And I think most of our mayors are really excited hearing about how data and smart technologies are being used in actual planning and decision making in a certain city. And of course, our esteemed speakers from our counterparts from UN provided cases in terms of the use of smart tools, machine learning, for example, in terms of turning policies or research to policies, plans, and programs and projects, particularly in the aspect of transport, air, and pollution. And the last presenter also shared about, actually touched on some of the topics that we will discuss by next week. And then these are, I just quickly summarize the presentations of the mayor into 3 C's. The commonalities, so basically in terms of technology, the themes, the training, and the vision of having a smart city, which are smart, sustainable, dynamic, safe, and satisfied. Most of you has a lot of commonalities when talking about smart initiatives. In terms of challenges, definitely we all share similar challenges. There are some unique challenges in some cities, but of course it runs through institutional, infrastructure, financial, legal, and social operational limitations. I highlighted in red some of the key aspects that we will deep dive in terms of Module 5B as well. And lastly, in terms of our recommendations to promote smart cities based on our speaker sharing and best practices from the mayor sharing as well, is number 1 is scaling wide, scaling deep, and scaling up. Our initiatives, of course, our different mayors are already implementing some current smart projects, and we've seen our colleagues from New Zealand, for example, and other parts of the world scaling up these initiatives as well. So we're really inspired with that. A number of times that was mentioned was sustainability of these initiatives, and what is critical is number 3, which is really building the capacity of our human resources to bridge the digital divide and educating our people, as well as engaging our citizens and to promote inclusivity. So with that, congratulations to all the speakers, to all the mayors, and to all our dear partners. So thank you very much. Dr. Moshen, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jennifer, for summarizing very efficiently and effectively the entire session today. May I invite Dr. Edgar actually to just briefly explain about the next session, Module 5B. Floor is yours, Dr. Edgar.
Yes, good day, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Let me just reshare the slide so that all of us will be guided. Yeah, here it is. I hope it's on presentation mode already. Okay, so Module 5B reflects on the tenet of the 2030 Agenda on Sustainable Development and its SDGs, which is to leave no one behind. for the continuation of the smart and sustainable city, looking into the aspect of inclusivity. In Module 5B, the concept of co-production will be very much looked into. So our honorable mayors, we would want you to think through these key questions for discussion on our upcoming lecture, which are: what are the drivers that promote or inhibit the engagement of various sectors in the smart city initiatives, and what are the ways to promote social inclusion outcomes in the smart city initiatives? Also, looking into our homework for Module 5B, we ask you to please choose one of the technologies identified in your first homework. We've seen a lot of different initiatives, technologies that were presented. You just need to choose one and explain in more detail its efficiency, effectiveness, and equity. So from these three pillars, we'll be looking into how we can detail our approach towards making all these initiatives a reality and putting into context inclusivity as the main part of our mission. So please return this completed homework for 5B by the 17th of August so that we will be able to see and check through it, and then we'll be having a very comprehensive discussion on the 19th of August. So please send all your homeworks at the email provided. Back to you, Dr. Mosen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Edgar, for explaining and introducing Module 5B. And thank you very much, all the honorable mayors, and I want to thank ESCAP teams for all their support and the time and work and effort. And also I want to thank all the speakers and also my colleagues, Dr. Jennifer and Dr. Edgar, actually, to help me regarding this session. I'm looking forward to see you all in 2 weeks' time, and all the best. And take care. Bye-bye. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, everyone. Bye. See you.
Bye-bye.